out here with the X-T3. My X-H1 is in for repairs, so I've taken the advantage of just trying it out and sharing my points of view. The first thing that I've noticed, this is my first day out with it. I've played around with the kids and stuff with the family. There is a definite difference. This has got a different sensor to the X-H1, and it handles light. Like a lot of people say it's subtle, but as someone who uses the X-H1 every single day, I take a lot of photos. There's a definite difference, and there's something, I'm calling it like light voodoo, because it does something with the light that my X-H1 just doesn't do. It looks like cinematic, you know. It takes shadows and compresses the grain to look like hazy in a nice way. Anyway, I really like it. I like the way it handles light. And then immediately straight after that, I'm like, where is IBIS? IBIS, it's not something to do with your colon. It's in-body image stabilization. The sensor is stabilized. I really miss that. I really like it on my X-H1, but my X-H1 is a lot bigger. This body is thinner this way. They've been able to have a smaller grip. It just is more compact, and that is something that I like about this. I like it and I don't like it. I love the way my X-H1 feels in my hand, but I also like the compact feeling of this camera. And also walking out of taking photos and walking into the streets, going from a professional situation to walking in the street and wanting to be low key, my X-H1 doesn't do that. I look like a reporter with a camera hanging around my neck. This camera looks almost a bit bizarre with my zoom lens on it, but it kind of, you put my 35mm on you and it looks pretty low key, and it fits in while I'm walking in the street. So that's a nice aspect. So if that's important to you, the positive of having a bigger camera, if you had a professional shoot, a lot of people want to see more pro with a bigger camera, so that is something to consider.
Baby, they ain't never gonna find me.
The thing about this camera that I really love is the shutter. I really enjoyed the shutter on the X-T2. The X-T3 is no different. The sound of the shutter, the feeling, the tactile feeling of the shutter is just amazing. The thing about Fuji, because I love the shutter experience on my X-H1, it's like a ninja experience. It's very sensitive, it's soft, and it's quiet. So, but it also has this great feeling and sound and all that. This is just more, it's like you feel like it's something really special. You feel like you're using an old film camera. So I really like that about the X-T3. It's something that is just one of those, just an elusive element of the camera that you can't quite put your finger on, but you just want to keep picking up the camera to use it.
Baby, they ain't never gonna find me. I'm a renegade. I could be the one who saved you from this pain. We could be as one and we'll escape.
It's hurry.
We could run away.
I know it's a small thing, but I do miss the top screen on the Fujifilm X-H1. That little top screen, I use it all the time to check battery life, to check how many photos I have left. Well, that's mainly it, and then every now and again to check what settings I have on my video settings. So yeah, I do miss that. It's like a nice little feature that I've gotten used to on the X-H1.
Yeah, I won't let you down.
So that was a great test. Just try to do some handheld B-roll at the airport there, and I'm using a stabilized zoom lens, but it just, like, I can't pan. Like they say, the IBIS on the X-H1 panning is jittery, but it's even worse using the X-T3 with a stabilized lens. So handheld B-roll is something I do every day. So if you are doing that, like this, it's not very nice. And also, I'm in the market for a manual wide-angle lens, because it's like a third of the price of the Fujifilm wide-angle lens. And that's going to be an issue with the X-T3. You know, I'm going to have to be very careful, especially if I'm doing film. I'd have to use a gimbal, that kind of thing. So if you are like a running around kind of person like me, not having IBIS is definitely a thing. I really believe it. 4K 50 frames per second, 4K 60 frames per second is definitely nice. It is nice to be able to do my B-roll and to slow it down later in 50 frames instead of having to use 1080p. That's really nice, so everything can be nice and crispy, and then when it goes through compression onto YouTube, it has less of an effect on it. So yeah, those are the things that I really think are the big pros and cons right now. I'm going to do a full review, I hope, if I have time. But yeah, I still think here's what I would do. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I have the X-H1 and I'm very happy with it. I love my X-H1, and again, sorry to go on about the IBIS, but I really like having IBIS on my camera. To save costs and to have a second camera, a backup camera, I'm going to use the X-T3. So a lot of the features of this camera are in the X-T3, and that can be my backup camera, my smaller camera, my camera to take away for weekends. So yeah, that's my take on it. But if you are in the market for your first camera, for going into Fujifilm, X-T3 is a huge contender. It's got cinema grade video, 400 megabits per second 4K. So yeah, interesting comparison, I think. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, please like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.